Alright, so for our workout for the day, what we're going to be playing with is 3 rounds going through 4 movements. And our movements are going to alternate between a core compression or a core endurance movement and either a push or a pull using our shoulders. So this is how we are riding further into that the shoulder endurance, shoulder strength side of things. Okay, equipment-wise, what you may need is one of your dumbbells. You're only going to need one. Or a heavy object that you're happy to squeeze. A bag with a handle is great here. Anything you use for the deadlift might be fine too. It is going to be pressed overhead though, so just be aware of how heavy that it is. We don't want anything that's going to get crazy as soon as we start putting it on top of our head, which things do tend to feel a little heavier once they get up there. Okay? Our first movement we're going to see is going to be one of our core movements, and today what we're going to be looking at is a flutter kick. This is a new movement for you. This will be a movement that we use our hollow position, but then we incorporate some dynamic leg movement to make it a little more challenging. Okay, so let me show you how this looks. Now, with all these funny core hollow positions, it's very hard to breathe through them, and that's normal to have. What we're going to do is make a set of goalposts out of our hands. Then what we're going to do is tuck our hands underneath our hips, and what this is going to do is just lift out our tailbone off the ground. Okay, that's great because we don't want to burn through the skin at the top of our butt because it makes sitting down very uncomfortable. From here, what I'm going to do is look at my toes. Okay, now I'm not reaching my neck around to look. I don't want any stress to the neck. All I want is my abs to turn on to bring my ribs down. So now that I'm in that braced hollow position. Okay, if I feel myself getting pain through the neck or an archy pain up back here, an achy pain, sorry, it's better off just to leave your head down back, but still try and turn those abs on. Okay, so ideally head forward looking down. If it hurts or feels uncomfortable, let it relax. Okay, goalposts, back under here. What I'm going to do is lift my toes off the ground. And all I'm going to do is point my toes like a ballerina and try to make a 90-degree angle out of them. Okay, this would be 1. This would be 2. This would be 3. This would be 4. Okay? Like with all of our movements, we don't want to rush them. Take your time, breathing through them. In fact, the slower you go, the easier it is to breathe through these. Okay? If your legs aren't able to 90 degrees, that's okay. Lessen the range of motion, but still bring your foot down to almost on the ground between each one. Don't panic about hitting the ground. In fact, I prefer you not to hit the ground. I prefer you to come as close as you can without touching the ground, because it means you haven't used your hip flexors and your abdominal muscles to keep that leg off the ground. We have 40 of those in total. After we finish those 40, we are then going to do 40 in total of a bent over row. So this is when we get to use a bit of that weight. Now, other equipment you may need is a chair, a ledge, a step, a table. These are all great things. All we're going to use it for is a bit of a support. So let me show you how this movement here looks. What I'm going to do is take my weight. Okay, the first side I'm going to look at is my left side. So the way I'm going to set up for this is I'm going to leave my left leg back, step my right leg towards my chair, then, like the death march that we've had in a previous session, I'm going to shift my hips back so I can put my one hand down on the support. So this has got a bit of my weight supported into it. Okay? What this does, it allows us to get more of a bent over position for our row. So we're using our lats more than we are using our traps to try and shrug the weight up. The more bent over you can be, the more benefit you're going to get out of this. Okay? I'm supported on my chair, my knees are soft, my feet are on the ground, my spine's in neutral, and I'm looking down at the ground. And what I'm going to do is pick up my weight, and I'm going to row until the weight hits my side of my body, and then I'm going to control it back down to the ground. Okay? Now you'll notice I'm moving nice and slow and controlled through these. Let me show you some not as good ones. Okay? We're not trying to start the lawnmower with this one, so we're not having any torsional twists coming from the abs. We want this to purely target through those biceps, through the gripping muscles, and into our lats. Okay? Slow and steady, moving on through. Watch where that neutral spine is. We're getting a little more dynamic with this too, because we're used to only for the deadlifts and the squats, staying very neutral, almost upright. For this bent over position, it's going to be up to you to feel where that neutral is, so that you don't get caught in a hunched up angle cat position, or in an overarched position where we're pushing our butt out like a baboon. Okay? 20 on one side, 20 on the other. The weight you have should allow you to do all 20 without letting it go. Those last few reps may feel the heat come on, but it shouldn't be a position where you fail, or it shouldn't be a weight where you fail at least. And it may take doing the session 1 or 2 times before you find out what that weight's going to be for you. Okay? Now when I go to my right side, what's going to happen is my feet are going to change sides too. So now my left leg is going to be in front and my right leg is going to stay back. So when I find that row position, my arm, you can't even see the camera, my arm is in line with that leg that's in front, that's taking a bit of that weight and that support. After we have 40 in total of our rows, our third movement is going to be hollow rocks, like we had in the warm-up. Okay, now there's 20 of these, so we want to find a position that we're happy to move for 20 reps in a row at without losing that mid-lie position. Okay? Once we move through those 20, our final movement is our overhead press. And we're going to be doing 10 each side, and it's only going to be one weight at a time. So we're getting a bit of unilateral stress from this here. If you would like to use the blocks that we had in our original session, you can. Now a single-sided, remember, our blocks can come heels on the wall, so that we're not moving forwards or back or arching our back as doing this press, or it can be staying foot on the wall so that we're not YMCAing through our overhead press and we're keeping those mechanics in line. Okay, 20 in total, so 10 each side. And you will find that the weight you use for the row should be very, very similar to the weight that you're pressing up and overhead, just so we're working on keeping everything in balance as we're doing it. Alright, so we've got 3 rounds through of that, and that is our session for today.